It looks like Anthropic is about to release their Claude large language model out to the public, and so I thought I would put together a quick guide on how to get started using the API with their large language model. I'm not here to argue whether it's better than ChatGPT or not. There's a ton of articles and videos about that. I just want to show you how to get started using it. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a look at it. Starting off here inside the Anthropic console, we need to start with grabbing our API key. So if I go to API keys, you can see I've already generated one. I can just do a create key there. You name it, click create key. Already been through that, but that's how you would create your key. So you need to have a key before you can play with it inside the API. So whenever they do give like public access to API keys, that's where you need to start and grab that API key. Make sure you save it somewhere in a 1Password or something like that, just so you know, because it's hard to come back and grab it. So just make sure you save it somewhere. So let's jump into the code and see how we're going to play with it. So the only thing I've done so far is actually put my API key into hex. So the next thing we're going to do is actually pip install Anthropic's package here. So Anthropic, make sure I don't misspell it. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that install. It's going to install Anthropic's packages here. Pretty quick, not too much to install there. The next thing in this video, we're just going to send off one simple message. We'll try to build out some more content with some more complex workflows, kind of talking back and forth a little bit. But just here, we're just going to start off with just sending off one message. So we got that good to go. So starting to write the code, we need to import Anthropic. I cannot spell tonight for some reason. Okay, so import Anthropic, so that's good. The next thing we need to do is get our API key set up. So I'm gonna set that up as a variable. So inside of hex, you can see it saved up here as a secret. So I can just call this Claude API key, which is what I called it. So that's what I'm gonna do, is just set that equal to Claude API key. So that's perfect. The next thing we're gonna do is set up our client. So we're gonna do client is equal to Anthropic dot capital Anthropic. Perfect. And then we need to send the API key to it. API key is equal to API. Well, let's change this to API key. Ant, just so that we're not doing the same thing there. So API key ant. There we go. Okay, so that's going to send that API key to authenticate for us. So that's going to help us out whenever we get ready to send our message, which is what we're going to do now. So we're going to do clients dot messages dot create. And again, like some of this is on the documentation. I'm just kind of copying and pasting a little bit here. So we're going to start off with our model. So they have a few models inside their documentation. Kind of their newest model is they have their Claude 3. Claude 2 was what they had before. Claude 3 is going to have 3 different models, kind of a smaller, medium, and large size. The smaller size is not out as of this recording. So we're going to use the medium size, which is called Sonnet. So they have a special way of denoting that here. So let me go ahead and copy and paste that in. So perfect. Throw some, make that a string. Perfect. So you can see that this looks like it was the February 29th version of Sonnet. So that's perfect. I think that might be when they released it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this a comma so we can do a max tokens here. So obviously I'm not going to talk too much about max tokens, but they do charge the user API, so it's pretty smart to have a max tokens in there so it doesn't go crazy. We're going to set this up to 1024, which is what kind of their default is. And then our messages here. So messages, so we're going to turn that into a list, open up a dictionary here. So we're going to do our role. So basically you're going to say who's talking here. So I am the user. So that's perfect there. And then I want to give it the content that I'm sending it as the user. So perfect. So since I am a Disney World aficionado, I'm going to ask Claude, what is the best ride at Disney World? Question mark. Okay, so that's the message it's going to send. So that's good to go there. So yeah, so at this point, we can just send that message and then we can kind of see what it tells us here. So let's take a look and see. You can see it's still running up here. Haven't actually sent this response. Let's see what it says. Wow, lame. It says that there is no definitive best ride at Disney World, as it tends to be a matter of personal preference. However, some of the most popular and acclaimed rides include Space Mountain, an indoor roller coaster in the dark; Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom, a high-speed roller coaster with an 80-foot drop; Soarin' at Epcot, a hang gliding simulator with an impressive wraparound screen; the Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios, a thrilling free-fall drop tower ride; Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom, a family-friendly outdoor coaster; Flight of Passage, the Avatar ride at Animal Kingdom; so on and so forth. You can ride in a Banshee. And then classics like Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and Haunted Mansion also remain very popular. The best for you depends on if you prefer thrill rides, dark ride simulators, or tamer-friendly attractions. But those listed are frequently, wow, that's a pretty good answer. Like, that's a pretty good answer. It hits a few of the favorite ones. It adds some of the old favorites in as well. And then it's kind of like, well, it depends on whether you like thrill rides or family rides or not. So that's a pretty good answer. So pretty impressed with what Claude it can do so far. So in this video, we just kind of discussed how you can get started using the Claude API. So hope you enjoyed this, and be looking out for some more Claude API and other AI type content on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and like the video if this was helpful to you.